Good evening, my dear students. You all warmly welcome for the lesson number 7, emotion. Actually, we have discussed about introduction to psychology. Then we have discussed about behaviorism and defense mechanism. Then environmental psychology, industrial psychology, as well as we discuss about memory as well. So today I'll be discussing lesson number 7 in emotions, which are very, very important topic in psychology, because emotions mean how the things what we feel. Why we study emotion in psychology? Because we know in psychology we are studying the cognitive processes and human behavior. So especially human behavior governs as a result of our thoughts and emotion. Okay, thoughts are roaming in our mind, and emotions are always, we are the feeling part, affective part. Feeling part is already with our heart. So therefore, if we are not properly control our feeling, if we are not properly control our emotion, it will badly damage our behavior, as well as it will badly damage to have a very good relationship with the other. Let's say if we feel sad, if we try to demonstrate that sadness as it is to the general public, then what will happen? Sometime we will lose lovely people around us. So therefore, these emotions, simply the emotion mean what we feel. It should carefully, we have to understand the importance of this topic, emotion, as well as then we have to take necessary action to control these emotions when it is necessary as well, because having a very good relationship with people is really important. It's really important. So therefore, in order to have maintain a very good relationship with other people, so controlling emotions and knowing our emotions and control them when it is necessary is really important, needed to have a very favorable behavior in front of the other. So today's lesson, let's begin. Lesson number 7, emotion. And why, what is mean by emotion, why it is important to control, and is it possible for us to control, and whether we can help other people to control their emotion if we are really sound to control our emotion initially. So likewise, let's discuss this night topic, because every day, every time, every person is experiencing a different kind of emotions time to time. Let's say when you get up early in the morning today, even sometimes you may feel sad. Sometimes you may feel happy. Sometimes you may feel anger. Sometimes you may feel jealous. So that kind of emotions, there are so many emotions are in this world, but we'll be discussing only very few here since time is a limiting factor. But I try to show some videos to you regarding this emotion, this lesson, and then you can, when you watch these videos, please write down an extra points which are highlighted in this video, because I believe that audio visual is somewhat a very, very important method that we can use to increase your memory, because just preaching or just explaining different concept in front of you, like this kind of platform is good, it's perfectly okay, but it's better if we can have some kind of videos, because in the videos there are pictures, there are words, as well as voices are there. So those will help us to have a very good knowledge about this topic, and at the same time it's very interactive as well. So what I want to tell you is, when I'm showing video, there are very important tips demonstrating showing in those videos, and I kindly request from you to write down them when it is necessary, because in the handout, the facts which are in the videos are not included. So therefore, you have a set of obligation towards the final handout, because in here in the handout, I have given very few facts, but when I'm showing the videos, you are responsible to enrich your note as much as you can. Okay, let's start the process. So intended learning outcome. So at the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain what is meant by emotion, as well as you should be able to discuss how the understanding of emotion help us in daily activities. In here, help us mean initially you have to understand your emotion and you should take necessary action to control. On the other hand, when you can understand the other person's emotion, as a person on this earth, you can help them to control their emotion. That is really needed. So identify the components of emotion. There are different components of emotion. We'll be discussing and discuss the different types of emotion as well. There are different types of emotion and different theories formulated by different scholars regarding this emotion. And let's discuss what these theories explain about emotion. Okay. So again, I would like to remind you why we are studying this topic in psychology, because emotion are really direct influential factor for a person's behavior. But since every people are experiencing emotion at any time in their lifetime, so therefore this emotion will govern their behavior either positive way or negative way. So therefore, knowing about this emotion and control them. And if you know that what is the emotion you are experiencing right now, then you can control your emotion if it is not suitable for the environment. But if it is okay to demonstrate to the world, doesn't matter, no problem at all, you can show it. Okay, so simply let's start that emotion is a complex experience of consciousness, and it's a bodily sensation and behavior that reflect the personal significance of things and event or state of aware. So emotion is complex experience of consciousness. You know what is my consciousness? Consciousness means already it is with us right now. Okay, so when we are differentiating consciousness, pre-consciousness, and unconsciousness, pre-conscious means what you are experiencing right now, what you are discussing right now, what you are thinking right now. Why it is a complex experience? Because it's a bodily sensation. You feel it to your body, and it governs your behavior and reflect the personal significance of the an event or a state of affairs. So when you engage with different activities, so your emotion demonstrate that uh, that the how the particular your emotion explain that how to what extent that event is important for you. Let's say when you are participating for a convocation, then if you feel that you are really happy, and if you are sharing your thoughts with your friends in a very friendly manner or a happy manner, then it shows how it is important, how that event is important for you. So when you demonstrate emotions, actually it shows how the particular event thing is important for you. Let's say when you have gone for the convocation, but you are really upset and you are really angry, and if you are not properly talking with your friends in the convocation, when they met you, then it indicate that convocation is not important for you. So therefore, emotion explain to the others how the particular event or a particular situation that you are attaching is important for you. ඔබ යම්කිසි අවස්ථාවකට ගිහිල්ලා ඔබගේ යම්කිසි චිත්ත වේගයක් පෙන්වුවම ඉමෝෂන්ස් කියන්නේ චිත්ත වේග. ඒ චිත්ත වේග පෙන්වීම හරහා ඒ සම්බන්ධ වෙලා තියෙන අවස්ථාවට ඔබට කොතරම් වැදගත්ද කියන කාරණාව පැහැදිලි කරනවා. හරිද? ඒතර ඔබ මේ ලෙක්චර් එකට ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නේ හරි මේ නිදා වැටෙනවා නම් නැත්නම් ඔබ ඉන්නේ හරිම අසතුටෙන් නම් ඔබ අනවශ්‍ය ප්‍රශ්න ලෙක්චර් එකේදී අහනවා නම් it shows that how the lecture is important for you. ඔබට වැඩක් නිසා තමයි ඔබ බාධා කරන්නේ ඒදී. So if it is important, what you do, you happily listen to the lecturer's lecture. So therefore, basically, this emotion is like it's a bodily sensation. It feels to your body, as well as it directly affect your behavior, and it reflect the personal significance of a thing, an event, or a state of aware. Okay. Emotion is indeed a heterogeneous category that encompasses a wide variety of critical psychological phenomena. So actually, we know that emotion is not homogeneous, it's a heterogeneous category. Why we say that emotions are heterogeneous? There are so many type of emotions are there. Because happiness, anger, sad, disgust, likewise jealous, different emotions are there. So actually, it is a wide variety of critical psychological phenomena. It is wide variety of like mean there are different types of emotion. So therefore, we can tell it says a wide variety, and it's a heterogeneous category. So we cannot list these are the only emotions that which are experienced by a normal human being on this earth. No, there are so many emotions can be listed. So therefore, it's really hard to identify which emotions you are experiencing. But basically, even though there are so many emotions, but different scholars try to cluster these emotions under 6 important umbrellas. We'll be discussing later. Okay, these emotions they try to list down under 6 important umbrellas. So I will tell you who are the scholars that who listed these major areas, major types of emotions. Okay, so basically, Paul Ekman is a person in 1972. He has, even though there are so many emotions are in the world, but he tried to classify these emotions under 6 important umbrellas. They are fear, disgust, anger, surprise, happiness, and sadness. Okay, so Paul Ekman, write down this. Under this point, emotion is indeed a heterogeneous category that encompasses wide variety of critical psychological phenomena. Now, for this sentence, I would like to give an extra note for you. Write down. In 1972, Paul Ekman, Paul Ekman, E-C-K-M-A-N, Paul Ekman, an eminent psychologist, have been proposed 6 important emotions, 6 important emotions experiencing by a person on this earth, They are fear, disgust, D-I-S-G-U-S-T, disgust, anger, surprise, happiness, and sadness. 6th one is sadness. Fear, disgust, anger, surprise, happiness, and sadness. Write down small paragraph. Emotions are complex feelings. Emotions are complex feelings. Complex feelings which change psychological and physical state of psychological and physical state of a person. Psychological and physical state can tattva, S-T-A-T, state of a person. Why we say it's a psychological? Because when we have different emotions, when we are experiencing, actually it goes to change our physical state, as well as our emotion, our like our psychological feeling part also change. Let's say when we feel anger, what we do is we try to hit the other people. It is a change of our physical state. We try to hit. Then when we feel anger, what will happen? Then our psychological the example how the psychological state is changing, because when we feel anger, actually we feel sad. So it's not good for our body. So therefore, when we are experiencing different emotion, it goes to change our physical and mental state both will change because of these emotions. Then further emotions directly affect for a person's behavior, and behavior full stop. Moreover, emotions of a person depends on the traits of a person, depends on, first one, traits of a person, traits කියන්නේ ගති ලක්ෂණ, TRAITS, traits of a person, personality, cognition, motivation, traits of a person, personality, cognition, and motivation, etc. So actually, the emotions, let's say, for us, two persons are in the same situation. So let's say there is a person 1, person B. So both are in the same situation. Both are met with an accident. Same accident. Okay, both are went by the motorbike, and both are encountered in the same situation. So the emotions what they are experiencing will vary according to their traits. If let's say if the B is very very silent person and not arrogant person, then it is their traits. So even though they both are met with an accident, but if A is very arrogant person, then his emotion in this situation is totally different than the emotions which we are experiencing by B. So therefore, emotions what we are experiencing also directly affected with our traits. Not only that, the personality. Okay, personality means how we think, how we feel, how we act. And then our cognition, so how we perceive the world. So let's say when we met with an accident, sometimes we may perceive it is our mistakes because we came in a very speed manner. So it's our cognition. But let's say my friend A said, no, we are not wrong. That person is wrong because he is very speed than us. So likewise, cognition. So therefore, the emotions that therefore, A is experiencing anger, but B is experiencing sad. Why? Because we feel that we encountered this problem. So therefore, it's very sad to be a part of this kind of situation. As well as motivation. Motivation means like the level of enthusiastic nature. If your motivation is very high, sometimes your emotions may be not down. Let's say sometimes you are continuously studying. It's really hard for your body as well. You are preparing short notes, you are studying, you are discussing with your friends. Then, but if your level of motivation is very high, even though you are struggling with your study, you feel happy because you know if you try, you can fly. So, but if your level of motivation is very down, when you work hard, you feel that I am really unlucky person because I am doing everything because in my age, other children are happily stay at home. They are watching television, they are watching movies, but I am suffering with studies. So your level of motivation also change your emotions. So therefore, basically we can say that emotions, the nature of the emotion depends on personality, cognition. Cognition means the way you think, your level of motivation, and the traits that you are possessing right now. So I have given only very few here, 4 here, but you can find more and more factors which cause to create different motivations. Simply, we can tell emotions control our human life. Do you agree with me? Emotion control our human life. Emotion control our human life. Why? Because we know when we are experiencing different emotions, what we do is, time to time, uh, we make different decision. Okay? Because when we are experiencing different emotion, we based on our emotion, we make different decision. So this decision govern our life. So let's say if we feel anger, if we are scolding our friends or our teacher or very, very close person, then what will happen? As a result of that, we may lose a very good quality or a kind-hearted people. Okay, so therefore, why these emotions control our behavior? Because emotions will cause to direct for the decision making in our life. So some decisions we are making will ultimately ruin our life. Let's say sometime when you feel anger with your fiance, you ask him to stop the affair. So because of your emotions, sometime you have decided to stop the affair. Then sometime you may lose a very lovely person who can make you happy in your lifetime. So therefore, since emotions govern your decision-making process, we can simply say that emotion control your behavior. So that's why, my dear student, we have to be very careful about our emotion. Definitely, we have to control them. Even though we experience negative emotions, we should not demonstrate to the world as it is. So if you are really aware of our emotion, we can control them, and we can show to the world that we are really capable enough in controlling emotion. So write down a very important point. Emotions control our behavior. Emotion control our life. Emotion control our life. Emotion control our life. Why we say that emotion control our life? The reason for saying is the reason for saying it is, comma, when we are experiencing different emotions, based on them, based on them, based on them, based on them, we try to make different decision. We try to make different decision either knowing, either knowingly or unknowingly. Either knowingly, K-N-O-W-I, knowingly, K-N-O-W-I-N-G-L-Y, K-N-O-W-I-N-G-L-Y, knowingly or unknowingly. Sometimes we make bad decision. Sometimes we make bad decision when we are experiencing. Sometimes we make bad decision when we are experiencing negative emotions. When we are experiencing negative emotions. These bad decisions these bad decision may cause to create these bad decision may cause to create lot of disadvantages in our lifetime. Example, when we anger with our best friend, we decided to stop the relationship with her. We decided to stop the relationship with her. We decided to stop the relationship with her. And finally, we may lose a very good friend of, we may lose a very caring friend. We may lose a very caring friend in our life. A very caring friend in our life. Therefore, knowing about different emotions, we are experiencing time to time, is really important when it is necessary to control, to have a healthy relationship, with other people, in this world. Final point, my dear students. So based on our emotion, we can decide whether we are going to be happy or sad. Let's say if I failed from an examination, so I feel very sad about it. So I should decide, no, I should not stand right now, because all these have happened to me because of my negligence. So therefore, I should not be sad. I should strictly determine to obtain a very good grade in the next time. So therefore, what you have to do is should not upset. You should not sad about your result. You should understand that yes, you are feeling sad, but you should decide, no, I'm not going to be sad right now. I'll strictly determine to work hard to get a better grade or a good grade in the next time. So likewise, based on your emotion, you can decide whether you are going to be happy or not. So because this life is very short. So always we try to find the way where we can be happy. So always we have to create a reason for other to be happy. So therefore, if we can control our emotions to be happy all the time, then at the same time, if we can create a good platform for other people to be happy, then that is the real beauty of our lifetime. Okay, write down. Basically, based on our emotion, basically based on our emotion, we can decide whether we can be happy, whether we are going to be happy or not. Whether we are going to be happy or not. It's our decision. It's our decision. This life is short. This life is short. Therefore, as a person, we always try to be away from, we always try to be away from negative emotions. We always try to be away from negative emotion. We always try to be away from negative emotions. We always try to be away from negative emotions. We always try to be away from negative emotions. Negative emotions. And always try to be happy and help others to be happy. Help others to be happy with utmost good faith. හොඳ සද්භාවයකින් කියලා අපි කියන උපරිම සද්භාවයකින්. With utmost good faith. Therefore, aware about our emotions. Therefore, aware about our emotions. Therefore, aware about our emotions. We are experiencing time to time. We are experiencing time to time. Is really important. Is really important. Is really important to control them. To control them when it is necessary. When it is necessary. So, my dear student, I will explain how why the emotions are heterogeneous category in later. I'll show you different types of emotion and why it has wide variety. And some emotions are particular concerning a specific person, object, or situation. Because some we know, emotions are particular. Some because when we are going for a convocation, when we are going for a party, we are experiencing happiness. So others such as distress, joy, depression, are very general. Some emotions are brief and barely conscious, and such as sudden flush of embarrassment or anger. So in here there are different kind of emotions have been explained here. Others such as long-lasting love and simmering resentment are and protracted and lasting hours, month, or even years. So which case they can become a durable feature of an individual person. So emotion may have pronounced physical accompaniment such as facial expression, because we know this when we are experiencing different emotions, we are involved with different facial expression. So when we feel anger, everybody can see whether we are anger or not, whether we are experiencing anger or not. When we feel happy, everybody can see, when they look at our face, they can understand through the facial expression, they can understand. So therefore, that's why controlling is really required. So even though emotions are emotions are the feeling part in our inner side, but because of our facial expression, because of our body language, it will be shown to the general community. So therefore, that's why we have to control emotion, not to show a bad facial expression, not to show bad body language to the other. Okay, so an emotion may be profound in that essential one to physical survival and mental health. I have told you, because because emotions are really important for the physical survival and emotional health, because that's why I told you this life is very short. So therefore we should take necessary action to be happy always. And physical survivals, when you continuously feel anger, sadness, what will happen? It is not good for your neuron system. It is not good for your health. අපි ඉස්සර කලින් කතාවට කියන තරහ ගියාම ලේ වතුර වෙනවා කියලා. It's not good. Okay? So blood is very important essential thing for human life. So therefore an emotion may be socially appropriate or inappropriate. So that's why if it is a socially appropriate, we can demonstrate no issue at all. But if they are not if they are inappropriate, so why they are inappropriate? Why they are socially inappropriate? Because it goes to lose our loved people. So please underline this inappropriate and write down. When why emotions are inappropriate, underline inappropriate and write down. It goes to damage. It means negative emotion goes to damage. Negative emotion goes to damage healthy relationship with other people. Psychologists have all, like, let's say, then it may even be socially obligatory, feeling remorse after commitment, a crime or grief at a funeral. Okay, so sometimes this emotion is socially obligatory as well. Sometimes some emotions are socially obligatory. Grief at a funeral, because when you go for a funeral, we cannot be happy. So we have to show the grief. We have to show that we are really unhappy. We are really, we have to demonstrate our sympathy in front of them. So therefore, socially obligatory emotions also there. So 6 type of basic emotions, because according to Paul Ekman, I have told you before, my dear student, according to Paul Ekman, he has identified in 1972, there are basically, even though there are so many emotions are in this world, basically he has listed only 6 here. Okay, so many different emotions influence how we live and interact with other people. At times it may seem like this. So emotion rulers, simply emotion rulers, because why? You can write down why emotion rulers, because emotion govern our behavior. Emotion govern our thoughts. Emotion rulers, underline this and write down emotion rulers, because emotion govern our behavior. Okay, emotion govern our behavior, facial expression, and body language. Why we said that emotion rulers? Because emotion govern our behavior, facial expressions, body language, and the decision-making process. Underline emotional rulers and write down emotion govern our behavior, our facial expression, our body language, as well as the decision-making process. So the choices we make, the action we take, and the perception we have, all are influenced by the feeling we are experiencing. So that's why emotion rule us, because this feeling, what we are experiencing at any given moment, is based on the emotion, we make different choices. That's why I told you decision making. And these emotions force us to take different action. That's why I told you behavior. And the perception we have, that's why perception means what we think, also governed by our emotion. Okay, so simply our physically, our body language, our facial expression also governed by it. So basically we can tell emotion rule us. So we should not allow this emotion to rule us as its own way. So we have to control, we have to make right decision, we have to take correct action, we have to think about a certain phenomenon in a very positive manner. So psychologists have also tried to identify the different types of emotion that people experience. A few other theories have emerged to categorize the explain people's feeling. I'll be explain these theories later, but basically let's try to focus on the basic emotion. So as I told you earlier, Paul Ekman identified six basic emotion that he suggested which were universally experienced in all human culture. So basically, Paul Ekman has identified six basic emotions, even though there are so many. But as I told you earlier, they are happiness, sadness, like disgust. Disgust can put a pellicula. Fear, surprise, and anger. So he later expanded his basic emotion to pride, shame, embarrassment, and excitement as well. So even though he has initially identified there are only six, but later on he has added another emotion like pride. Pride can proudatve. Shame can lajjav. Embarrassment, excitement, that kind of emotions they have added. So look at this six type of emotions, okay? Happiness. So happiness means when we feel safe, happy, joy, contentment, calm, and peace. So when we feel that we are in a very safe environment, we are really happy, and we feel that we can enjoy, we are really joyful, and we are really calm and peaceful, then the emotion what we are feeling at this moment is happiness. So if you feel that you are safe, if you feel that you are really happy, if you feel that you enjoy, you experiencing joyness, contentment, calm, and peace, either any feeling will lead for you, will cause to create the emotion called happiness. Anger. So when we feel trapped, annoyed, frustrated, agitated, insulted, and irritated, then you feel anger. So actually, that's why I told you, when we are live in this world, we are experiencing so many emotions per day, different types of emotions per day. You cannot exactly tell I'm only experiencing happiness. No, there are some instances where you are experiencing anger, disgust, surprise, sadness, fear, happiness, etc. So sadness. When we feel lonely, කිසිම කෙනෙක් නැහැ තනිකමක් දැනෙනකොට, and heartbroken when you lost your loved people, when your fiance or fiancé thought to stop the affair which last during last 5 years period, then heartbroken and grieved, miserable, gloomy, unhappy, and troubled. So it goes to create the emotion called sadness. So fear, when we feel worried, doubtful. Let's say now when you sit for an examination, you are really doubtful about the answer that you are going to write. And you are afraid when somebody asks you to come to a place to meet him. So you feel afraid, terrified, and panicked. I'll show you the video. Actually, even though under fear, there are so many instances are there. In one video, it nicely show. Before fear, there are like panicked may be the last stage of fear. Like before that, you may worry, then after fear, then after panic. So likewise, there is a nice hierarchy will be shown in the video that I'm going to share with you later. So therefore, even though there are so many emotions under fear, but it comes in a very consequence manner. Again, අපි panic වෙන්න කලින් කෙනෙක් fear වෙනවා. Fear වෙන්න කලින් කෙනෙක් worry වෙනවා. So likewise, so if you know that I'm really worried about it, then you can stop not to be fear, not to be panicked. So if you have very good awareness about your emotion, and then if you can control at the worrying stage, so you don't want to go to fear stage, you don't want to go to the panic stage. But unfortunately, people are not aware about their emotion. Therefore, they could not be able to control them. So as a result of that, ultimately, they will lose their healthy relationship. Then disgust is somewhat we call pellicula. When we feel uncomfortable, when somebody is blaming you in front of the others, unseated, disturbed, and offended. then you feel disgust. Surprise, when we feel shocked. Wide our eyes, open our mouth, and raise our eyebrows, then it shows that you are experiencing surprise. So basically, even though there are six, but there are many more, my dear student. So happiness. Actually, as I told you, that's why this emotion govern our facial expression, body language, as well as tone of voice. Okay. So if you can demonstrate, even though you are experiencing different emotions, but if you can control them in a very positive manner, like having a very good facial expression, like demonstrating very good body language, like showing a very good tone of voice, then it says that you can control your emotion. So basically, you know, when people are experiencing happiness, what kind of facial expression, body language, and tone of voice is there. So of all the different types of emotions, happiness tend to be the one people strive for the most. Happiness is often defined as a pleasant emotional state. We all are really like for the happiness. අපි හැමෝම ආසන්නේ ලොකු සතුටින් ඉන්න. And it characteristic by contentment, joy, gratification, satisfaction, and well-being. Research on happiness has increased significantly since 1960s, but now, my dear student, there is a happy index as well. If anybody want to measure the happiness of a person, there is an index. Index means that the set of questions will be provided. According to the response of those questions, we can decide the level of their happiness. But you can measure the level of happiness using this happy index if they provide only the frank opinion. Now, most of the organization, they in the employee selection procedure, they provide this happy index. Let's say when we are recruiting for a receptionist position, so in that frontline employees, they should be very happy and joyful people, since they are directly interacting with the customer. So therefore, in selecting those people, in the selection process, most of the organization using this happy index to measure the level of happiness in their level of happiness. So therefore, then we can have some kind of idea about the happiness of their life. So since the happiness is very important, different scholars have formulated happy index. Okay, including the branch of psychology like positive psychology. That's why, because there is a branch of psychology called positive psychology. It's a very nice subject, positive psychology. How we can be positive in our lifetime always will be teach in that course. This type of emotion is sometimes expressed through facial expression, such as smiling. Even actually, there's a nice difference between smiling and laughing, Puthe. Okay, there is a nice difference between smiling and laughing. So when we are smiling with the other people, it's very mild, but laughing mean sometimes it deformation may be there when laughing. Body language such as relaxed stance. So when you are really happy, you are not, sometimes you may dance, it happen, but sometimes you are when your body is very relaxing. Your tone of voice is pleasant way of speaking. So when people happy, their voice is very lovely. Their voice is very caring. That voice is not arrogant always. So therefore, you can decide whether the particular person is happy or not by looking at their facial expression, body language, and tone of voice. If the facial expression is not very pleasant looking, then we can say that they are not happy always. So while happiness is considered one of a basic human emotion, the things we think will create happiness tend to be heavily influenced by culture. Now, most of the research, they have understood that happiness is influenced by the culture. Culture means like family culture, or the religion, or the workplace culture, etc. So that's why, my dear students, we always try to create a good culture for our people. So culture means how people interact with each other. So in our home, if we are giving the really, if we try to satisfy the needs of our children, husband, parents, then in that house, it has a nice culture. Because culture is governed by the value system. Okay, so therefore, having a very good relationship with other people, so how they interact with the other is really important for happiness. For example, so pop culture influence emphasize that attaining certain items, such as buying a home or having high-paying job, will result in happiness. The realities of what contribute to happiness are often much more complex and more highly individualized. So if you shouldn't decide whether you are going to happy or not. It's an individualized decision. People have long believed that happiness and health are connected. Happiness and health. Health mean put the underline health and write down both physical and mental healthiness. Underline health and write down physical and mental healthiness. So if you are really happy, your mind is healthy as well as your body is healthy. අපි අස්තුරෙන් ඉන්නකොට ගොඩක් වෙලාවට අපේ ශරීරයේ සෞඛ්‍යයත් අහිමි වෙනවා පුතේ මානසික සෞඛ්‍යයත් අහිමි වෙනවා. So that's why always we try to be happy. And research has supported the idea that happiness can play a role in both physical and mental health. So stress, anxiety, depression, loneliness are not good for human, both physical and mental healthiness. For example, have been linked to things such as lowered immunity, because when stress, anxiety, depression, and loneliness is experienced by different people, it lowered the immunity system. It increased inflammation and decreased life expectancy as well. So that's why always we try to experience happiness at any time. It's really needed. It's really needed. So that's why we in order to increase our life expectancy, in order to strengthen our immunity system, these happiness is really important emotion that we, because actually if we are experiencing emotions, we don't want to bother about it. We always make necessary action to experience these emotion as much as we can. It's really important. Okay, let's explain what is emotion and why it is necessary. Let's try to watch this video and then try to understand what is emotion and why it is important. Please look at this small short video which explain nicely. Wait, I'll skip the video advertisement.
Emotions. We all have them, and sometimes we wonder why. Our emotions can be short-lived, like a flash of annoyance at a coworker, or long-lasting, such as enduring sadness over the loss.
Actually, emotions may be long-lasting. Sometimes we have to enduring a sadness over loss of our loved one. So, okay. So emotions is not short-term. It can be long-term as well.
Loss of a loved one. But why do we experience emotions? What purpose do they have? Let's find out.
Wait.
Emotions. We all have them, and sometimes we wonder why. Our emotions can be short-lived, like a flash of annoyance at a coworker, or long-lasting, such as enduring sadness over the loss of a loved one. But why do we experience emotions? What purpose do they have? Let's find out. Thanks to the work of a few researchers, we can theorize on a few reasons why we feel emotions. Number one, emotions help us survive. Naturalist Charles Darwin believed that emotions are adaptations that allow us humans to survive.
Because why emotions are important for a survival or an adaptation? Because emotion govern our decision making, govern our thoughts, govern our behavior, etc. So therefore, in order because since emotions govern our behavior, so whether the behavior positive or negative will cause for successful survival in the society, or as well as emotions govern our decision making. Then we make different decisions in the community, in our world time to time. Then when we are making different emotions, based on the different emotion, when we are making different decisions, it shows that whether we try to survive in the society in a positive manner or a negative manner.
When we lived in the wild, we needed emotions in order to react quickly to dangerous situations. If faced with a tiger, it's better to be rocked with a fear so strong, triggers a quick response, rather than theorize about the threat. If you want to create a system that works hard to survive, make it conscious and emotional. It will want to keep itself around. This also helped us jump up the food chain. Number 2, emotions can motivate us to take action. Emotions help to organize our behavior and set us in motion to accomplish a goal. When faced with a nerve-wracking exam, you might feel a lot of anxiety about whether you will do well and how it will impact your...
That's why I told you. So when you have very negative emotions in an examination, if your motivation level is very high, then what will happen? You are not bothered about that emotion, and you go to your final to obtain a final grade.
Final grade.
Look at
help
that
to
point.
organize our behavior and set us in motion to accomplish a goal. When faced with a nerve-wracking exam, you might feel a lot of anxiety about whether you will do well and how it will impact your final grade. These emotional responses can motivate you to take action, like studying, to improve your chances of getting a good grade. We also tend to take certain actions that make us feel positive emotions and stay away from the ones that cause us to feel negative ones. For example, you might seek out social activities or hobbies that give you a sense of happiness, contentment, and excitement. On the other hand, you'd probably avoid situations that might lead to boredom, sadness, or anxiety. Number 3, emotions can help us make decisions. Our emotions have a major influence on the decisions we make, from what we decide to have for breakfast to which candidates we choose to vote for in political elections. Anger can make you more likely to take risks and to minimize how dangerous those risks are. Fear can make you more uncertain about your decisions. And happiness can make you more carefree or open-minded. This is why emotional intelligence, our ability to understand and manage emotions, is very important in enhancing our decision-making abilities. Without it, we're at the mercy of our emotions. Number 4, emotions help us communicate with people.
That's why I told you these emotions, because when we experience the different emotions, our facial expression, our body language will help us to communicate with the other people. So when we are really upset, if our facial expression shows that we are really upset, then we communicate to the other people that we are really sad in that situation. So basically, body language and facial expression are the results of emotion, which help us to communicate with the other people what we are thinking at that point.
We can do this with verbal and non-verbal behavior. When we show or tell friends or family members that we are feeling happy, sad, excited, or frightened, we are giving them important information that they can then use to take action. In turn, emotions also help us to recognize what others are feeling.
This is somewhat very important point, my dear students. So basically, emotion help us to recognize what others are feeling. because it's called emotion. It's a very important part of emotional intelligence. Initially, we should be able to understand aware about our emotion, and we should take necessary action to control our emotion. Later on, if we have very good understanding about our emotion, basically we can recognize others' emotion as well. Then after, we can help those people to control their emotion. But initially, you should be able to know about your emotion. You should be able to control your emotion. If you do so, you can understand others' emotion, and you can, as a person, you can help other person to control their emotion.
We are giving them important information that they can then use to take action. In turn, emotions also help us to recognize what others are feeling. It allows us to respond appropriately and build deeper, more meaningful relationships with our friends, family, and loved ones. It also allows us to communicate effectively in a variety of social situations, from dealing with an angry customer to consoling a heartbroken friend. So, as you can see, emotions play an important role in our life. However, they also tend to drive us crazy when given too much rein. Mental illness usually develops as a result of excess emotion. An unhealthy overflow of emotion doesn't just drive mood disorders like depression, but fuels most psychological problems, such as phobias, anxiety, trauma, hoarding, obsessiveness, borderline personality disorder, and drug and alcohol abuse. Humans have two highly developed systems, reason and the emotional core, which was passed on by our primitive predecessors. Mental illnesses often result from an imbalance in these two. Even though emotions like fear used to be helpful in the wild, they're less efficient helpmates in modern civilized life. Of course, we still have plenty to fear, but our threats are not usually immediate, like a tiger, but rather distant, like money and war and homelessness. So, a lot of us suffer from a more generalized fear or anxiety. There's a sense of danger without a practical opportunity to respond to it quickly. As a result, our emotions get out of whack because they bubble without an effective outlet. Therapy these days often focuses on balancing our emotion and reason. This way, we don't let our emotions overrun us and keep our systems in balance too. This is no easy task though, but like with everything else, practice makes perfect. So, as we have learned, our emotions serve a wide variety of purposes. And
actually, in this video, it nicely explained that emotion help us for survival of a human being, and help us for decision making, help us for us for proper communication, and it help us to take necessary action when it is necessary. So these are the three important importance of emotion according to this video. I believe that you have noted down these four in your note, which have been shown by this video as how they are important, how the emotions are really important for human beings on this earth.
Play a critical role in how we live our lives, from how we engage with others to the decisions we make. But if left unchecked, they can be quite troublesome.
Okay, so
it's a good idea to familiarize ourselves with our emotions and boost your emotional intelligence to new levels. We hope we found this video.
Okay. So that's all about, that's a very small video, my dear student. So I'll stop the first part of emotion lesson from this point, and we'll be discussing with the other types of emotion later from the second recording. That means I'll be discussing fear, disgust, surprise, anger, and sadness in the second part. And as well as I hope to show you so basically what is emotion and how to express your feeling, tips for express your emotion in an effective manner. Likewise, finally, I'll be showing the 8 ways to become more emotionally mature, because most of the people are not emotionally mature in their lifetime. So that's why they are demonstrating the emotion that they are experiencing as it is to the world. So it will cause for a bad relationship with the other people. So I'll be discussing with you the remaining 5 emotions later. And from the next part of this video. So until that, have a great day. Bye. Let's meet from part 2 of emotion